Hey everybody, it's PAX Prime 2013. Sean McInnes here alongside Greg Kasavin of Supergiant Games. Greg, I believe you guys have a new Transistor demo, is that right?
That is correct, indeed.
All right, well, without wasting any time, Greg, I know you're a busy man. Let's get right to it.
Yeah, here we are. This is the first time we're showing this latest build of the game since we first showed the game at PAX East. What was that, like 6 months ago? And then what we showed at E3 was very similar. And this is reflective of some of the changes we've made over the last 6 months or so, pushing the whole game closer to how we expect it will begin in the finished version. So yeah, here we are. We'd like to start you off, kind of throw you in off the deep end a little bit, I guess, and just get you playing. Very little preamble. I guess a lot of mystery. A lot is conveyed, through the voiceover and audio. But you're this character called Red, and as I like to say, you're having a very bad evening at the beginning of this game. You wind up with this unusual weapon called the Transistor, and you're immediately set upon by these weird forces that are desperately trying to get it back.
So is this the very beginning of the game right here?
It is representative of it. Yeah, there's a chance we'll still kind of mess with it some more because we're always tuning and tweaking kind of all the way through. But yeah, this is what we have in mind for the beginning of the game. Kind of start right off.
So that special tactical overlay you saw just now, can you explain how that works?
Yeah, this is like one of the things that I think makes the moment-to-moment play in this game pretty interesting. And at any time you can pull the right trigger, or at almost any time. Actually, if you notice that bar at the top of the screen, you can only use the ability once that bar is full. And then you could sequence your next set of actions while everything around you is essentially paused, and then pull the trigger again to execute those actions in like a supercharged format. And in so doing, you can like really turn the tables on your enemies in some pretty dramatic ways, and plan out your actions and use it in kind of clutch situations, although you can still play the game in real time as well. How and when you use it is like really up to the individual player, and we like that about it actually.
So how does that scale up towards later in the game? Because I know, at least with Bastion, some of those fights we're up against a lot of different enemies. Are you going to be doing that in Transistor?
Yeah, I mean, we hope to pack like a lot of surprises into the game in terms of what the encounters are like. Some large-scale encounters, some encounters with like lots of different types of enemies and stuff like that. Enemies that can respond to this really powerful ability in some surprising ways. So we find it to be a very rich system, and just have lots of ideas around like cool encounters that we can do once that is sort of a factor. We really want like use of cover and positioning to be significant and interesting throughout this game, and just to have these moments where you can deliberate over your actions. You could like undo and decide to do something else, and ultimately when you pull the trigger, most of the time your plan is going to happen, just as you hope, and it's very satisfying. And then, of course, one of the things that makes planning interesting is those moments when it doesn't go quite as you expect. Yeah. And hopefully we have some of that, too, leading to some exciting results.
Okay. So before we go spinning off into any more wild tangents about the game as a whole, let's talk about this little bit of the demo here. What's the context of what's going on here, and what part of the world is this?
Yeah, so what just happened was this sort of essence of this person who seems to have been killed in an unusual way entered into the Transistor and gave it a new ability. So that is a little bit of evidence as to where its abilities are coming from, and I guess part of the mystery of what makes it so special. And also it's an introduction of a new power relatively early on. As to what the location is, the game takes place in a city called Cloudbank, but at the beginning of the game, Red, the main character, finds herself in an unusual part of town. It is not normally deserted. It is not normally set upon by these weird things that we've been fighting. So something really bad is beginning to happen here, and that's kind of central to the mystery that's unfolding around just around the transistor itself and around Red's role in what's happening. She is, at the beginning of the game, she has survived an attempt on her life using this very weapon that she escaped with. So you'll learn more about that as the game unfolds. Here I'm gonna, actually I just gained this new ability called Spark, which has an area of effect, so it's very effective against smaller, weaker forces like these guys here. You'll see I'll destroy all of them in just a couple of shots. Or not, actually, that was an example. So the shot connected with one of them directly, so it blew up early. That's an example of where my plan did not go quite as expected, but it should be no problem. These guys are not particularly powerful.
Let's go.
It's interesting the look of the game because it has that sort of like super giant feel to it, which is amazing in and of itself that you guys already have sort of like a signature aesthetic after 2 games. But at the same time, you're going from fantasy to sci-fi, and it still kind of maintains that look.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, one of our main goals with this game is just to see if we could create a whole new world for this game and create another game with like a very distinct identity, which we felt we were able to accomplish with Bastion. Like we loved creating that weird like fantasy frontier world for Bastion and wanted to see what we could do in the science fiction genre this time. So, you know, starting off from kind of like the genre traditions of things like cyberpunk, but then spinning it in some other directions, adding some kind of, I guess, unusual ingredients to the mix. And hopefully, yeah, the result is something with a cohesive but distinctive kind of feel.
How are you doing on time? I'm doing just fine, so we can keep going.
Yeah, so here we have an example of, you know, we introduce you to this really powerful ability where you can, you know, freeze the whole world and go to town on your enemies, but we also show you that there are enemies that can retaliate against it in some surprising ways. So here I'm going to try to, you know, finish off this particular enemy with a series of moves, but we find that every time she is sort of combo resistant. Every time she is hit, she teleports to a new location and spawns one of these copies. So I have to use cover pretty carefully in dealing with her. So yeah, we found that when having such a powerful ability was the starting point of the game, we got to like, it really opened up like interesting, it just opened up our minds to the kinds of enemies that we could have, like wherever, like the default enemy is still like very powerful because you have such a, in turn you have such a powerful ability that you could use to defeat them. So we, it's been really refreshing, I guess, to like create combat encounters in this game. It's for us, it's like a whole new way of thinking about these battles compared to what something like Bastion that we worked on before.
Yeah, so in terms of the overall structure of the game, you mentioning Bastion a second ago kind of got me thinking, is it like Bastion where you have sort of like a hub that you return to, or is it more of like a continuous journey throughout the entire game?
Yeah, it's more the latter this time around, where it is like a journey across the city in search of the former owners of the Transistor, because they're the people who evidently have answers as to what's going on. There isn't per se, yeah, it's structured differently from Bastion in that respect, and you'll see actually in just a little while here that in Bastion, you know, mechanically. The Bastion location itself was like where you did a lot of your like character upgrading and that sort of thing. This time, those types of systems you carry with you where you go. They're part of the Transistor itself, and we'll see those after I take care of this lovely fellow here. This enemy, you know, he just mows through cover. So together with this other guy, he can make life difficult for me. He takes soaks up a lot of damage, but I could still put the hurt on him pretty bad. Oh, the other guy managed to move out of the way. I also got another ability called Jaunt, which is like a short-range teleport. I could use it while my other abilities are recovering, so I can make sure to, you know, keep out of harm's way in between my sort of attack runs here.
Okay. I love that you earn a special ability called Jaunt. Do you also earn something called Saunter?
Perhaps that'll be the upgraded version of Jaunt, will be Saunter. So here we go. I have the Transistor has decided that that I could choose an upgrade, and I'm going to choose this one, which lets me apply, kind of unlock a unique property to any of my powers. So here's our fancy upgrade system.
Okay, you're in.
I just earned this one, and now I can apply it to any of the 4 powers that I've earned, and each of them will have a different result. So I'm going to put it on Spark here. That's one of the kind of most obviously different ones. Now when I use Spark, the explosions turn into more explosions, which will be useful.
I can see how that would be handy.
Yes,
Okay,
more explosions, a good idea when facing some of these enemies. So now, okay, our friend is back, but something is different about him, which we'll discover here. Not only do you level up, but so do the enemies in this game. He has gained a new ability, which we will discover during an unfortunate set of circumstances, perhaps here in a moment. A little bit of foreshadowing, but he is stronger and tougher. That's a little bit of a hint as to what's to come, where you're facing enemies that they're kind of like shoring up their own weaknesses as they realize that you are very capable of dealing with them.
That was quick.
So we cleaned out his buddies, but this guy is, yeah, he won't survive much more.
Or jerk.
Yes, poor jerk. One more shot, and seemingly he'll be defeated, but this is his new ability. He gains his little Berserker last stand, and he can do some damage to me, but it's not going to be enough, and I will bring him back to where he belongs. Now I could get out of here. This is pretty much right near the end of what we're showing here at PAX. This is seemingly your escape route from this area, but as part of the story, the voice coming from the Transistor has been urging Red to kind of get the hell out of Dodge. But what he discovers is that Red is going deeper into the fray, not sort of taking his advice to get to safety. She's going after the people who have wronged her here. And we'll have to find out what happens, I guess, in the full game. That's what we have to show.
Cool. All right, Greg. Well, thanks a lot. How's development coming along? When are you guys looking to have this finished?
We're right in the thick of production right now, making really good progress. We're looking at to release the game on the PlayStation 4 and PC sometime early next year. Yeah, so it's been an exciting and wild ride so far, and thankfully the response has been really great at places like PAX. So we're excited to keep going.
All right, there you guys have it. That's your look at Transistor here at PAX Prime 2013.